Have you ever wondered what goes into your favorite brand's digital marketing strategy? I'm Terrah, the founder of TJ Creative Agency.
And I'm Audrey, the Creative Marketing Director of TJ Creative Agency. Whether you're an influencer, a business owner, a content creator, or just an overall creative person, we'll teach you how to create the perfect social media strategy and build your brand online. Welcome back, you guys. Welcome back to Social Sessions Podcast. You are back with Terrah and I. We got a solo episode for you guys this week. We are talking basically about, well, kind of two different topics, but really talking about different content for the different parts of the marketing funnel. So what I mean by two different topics is we're kind of going to break down the marketing funnel, and then from there talk about different topics that will fit into different sections of the marketing funnel. So I'm really excited about this episode. It's obviously nothing that we've talked about before, but something that I've been thinking about a lot and actually have found myself explaining a lot in coaching calls, which, again, a little plug if you would like personal coaching. We do offer that. We offer a monthly subscription or just a one-time call on our website. So if you have any social media questions that you want personal answers for, we got you covered. But before we jump into the topic of the episode, we do have a tip of the week, more like. Terrah, you want to take it away?
Yeah, the tip of the week is training your algorithm. This can be done. We suggest that you don't scroll aimlessly, especially from a business account, on watching things that don't fit into your niche, basically. You want to engage with people that are your ideal customer. You want to watch that type of content. If you need to have another account to binge watch crazy stuff, then do it on that one, because it will automatically recognize as that's the content you're interested in. That's the stuff that will show up. And if you're doing it for a client, it can almost be detrimental to them and very confusing when they log in and see that you've been watching strange content.
Yeah, they're like, what's going on my account? Why am I now getting really weird sponsored posts?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it kind of just helps you. I think too, when you're engaging specifically with your ideal customer, it also just makes it so much easier to find more people that would be considered your ideal customer, right? Because if you're engaging with a certain type of person, you're going to be pushed content from the similar types of people, if that makes sense.
Exactly.
So it also just makes your life a little bit easier.
Which I think is what made TikTok so different from Instagram, is that I believe that was their thing, right? They had that For You page and it automatically recognized.
Yeah. I mean, it still is the thing that separates them. Like, Instagram has really not mastered it as well as TikTok has. TikTok is still like, oh, you like this? It's like TikTok reads your mind.
Yeah.
I say the word cake and I get 9 cake decorating videos. And I'm like, oh my God, how did they know I wanted to watch cake decorating videos?
You searched one and then it recognized it.
Yeah, or you like one video. Like, I always say I get whoever's on tour, I get videos of them because they suck me in. The tour videos suck me in. So it's like I was a part of that group that was getting an insane amount of concert footage from the 1975. Or like Beyonce's on tour now, I'm getting Beyonce footage. I was getting a ton of Jack Harlow footage. Whatever artist is on tour, I watch one video and then TikTok's like, oh, you like Dua Lipa? Here's 97 more Dua Lipa videos from different angles. It'll be the exact same. It'll be the exact same. Yeah, the exact same video. Like the same exact thing is happening. And they're like, but here's different footage from different points of the crowd. I'm like, oh, thank you so much, TikTok.
Exactly. Yeah, they're just better at it. But I think Instagram is trying to catch up with them in that regard. And so
I think they just push more on the explore page is kind of where it shows up, but it does still make it, like I said, it makes it easier when you're doing engagement on your account, or if you're a social media manager, your client accounts.
And we and Audrey were just saying we've been on client accounts and realized we were like scrolling down a rabbit hole on something that didn't pertain to them or their niche, and
then it's a weird conversation. And then they're like, why the hell is this on my explore page? And then it, makes it weird for you. So that's a completely separate reason, but could make for a weird conversation.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so before we jump in, you already know what I'm going to say. I would love for you to rate and review the podcast. I told you guys this last week, but I've been seeing some kind reviews and I really appreciate it. And I would love if you continue to do that. I know I said I was going to read them on the podcast. Today's not that day,
You
but
should though. We
I
should get
might.
at least a couple.
I might in the future. Know that I read them though. We both read them, and they're very kind, and I appreciate that. Cool. So now we're gonna jump in. This is actually a topic that I'm very excited about. So, like I said, we're kind of gonna break down the marketing funnel first. So, what is the marketing funnel? It basically just describes the phases in a buyer's journey. And what I mean by phases of the buyer's journey is majority of the time you've heard us talk about like the 7 to 8 touch points. Someone has to see
Mhm.
your product, whatever. So, it's kind of along those same lines. Majority of the time you are not going to see a product once and buy it.
No.
Right? So think about yourself as a customer. You're probably going to like, even let's use an influencer as an example. Maybe an influencer is like, here's my favorite. Okay, this is actually a real life example. You know those heatless like hair curlers?
Yes.
So I was seeing so many videos about that like a while ago, right? Let's say 6 months ago. And I was like, oh, that looks great. That was my introduction, right? So that's the awareness. I am now aware of this product and aware of essentially the problem that it could solve for me. And that just being that I don't want to do my hair and it's an easy, whatever, time saver, whatever. So I'm aware of it. I didn't buy it. I'm still thinking about it and I'm like, it could be nice, but maybe not. And then I keep seeing more content about it or they keep popping up or whatever, whatever.
Mhm.
Now I'm in the consideration phase, right? I've already become aware of it and I'm thinking about buying it. And then the last phase is actually buying it, right? Actually pulling the trigger. The conversion phase is what it's called. So I actually did buy them like a few days ago and I tried it and they worked. Not that
Did it
anyone was.
work? Did it work good? Because I did it on Andy and she looked it, well, I don't know if it's, is it the one that like goes right here and then you
No,
wrap it
okay,
around?
I bought the ones, it was like 6 rolls, this is the sidebar, but it was like 6 ones, and I put them in a sock, and I did 3 like this, so it looked more like a blowout than this is like
Oh,
3
really?
days ago of it. But yeah,
Yeah.
it turned out okay. The middle one fell out when I was sleeping, but the top layer kind of covered it. Anyways, that's the conversion is that I actually ended up buying the product, right? But my point being that I thought about buying it 6 months ago before I actually bought it, which is how majority of people are. Even if you like impulse buy, it's probably something that you've thought about before, right? Most of us, most people don't think like randomly one day, oh, I would like to buy a piano out of the blue and then buy a piano that day. You know what I mean? Like most of us have thought about it before, even when we're quote unquote impulse buying things. It's something that we've thought like, oh, that would be cool to have,
Yeah.
you know? So that's the journey, really. If you break it down, it's awareness, consideration, and conversion. So the way that I like to think about it is a funnel. Really, the very top is the awareness, the middle section is the consideration, the very bottom is the conversion. So now that you have a basic understanding of the marketing funnel,
Yes.
I want to talk about the content that kind of pertains to those because what really made me want to make this episode was I was telling Terrah, I actually cover this a lot on TikTok Live and on one-on-ones. Um, a lot of people will have concerns because they're like, oh, this post really didn't do well, or whatever, like, what am I doing wrong? And I have to remind people that not every post is going to perform the same way. Not every piece of content is supposed to perform the same way because they all serve a different purpose within that funnel and within your strategy.
Yeah.
So, kind of breaking it down, we'll start at the top with the awareness phase, which, like I said, it's exactly as it sounds. It's when people or potential buyers become aware of your company, product, your service, they become aware of you. So this is the type of content that I think people are most familiar with is the type of content that would fit in this category, in the awareness category. So this really is like trending content, content that is going to appeal to a mass audience. It's going to be pop culture type of content like memes. It's going to be macro influencer collaborations because it's going to have a huge reach. It's going to be shareable content. That's really what's going to work in this phase, right? Because
Yeah.
again, your main goal is to get awareness. So that means not that you're not targeting your target audience, but you're probably, the way I explain it to people a lot on TikTok is it's like casting a really massive net. You're going to catch some people that are not your target
Mm,
audience, but you're just casting a wide net, right? You're just trying to basically get anyone to become aware. I will also say, this is where you pay more attention to like your reach and your impressions in terms of analytics, because that's what you're aiming for, right? You're trying to reach as many people as possible.
yeah.
So that's the analytics you should be paying attention to. And then I will also throw in that paid ads do pretty well in this phase. Now, I've been researching a lot more about paid ads and I'm just trying to get a lot better at it. And I do know that there's, when you do on at least Facebook business or Meta business now, or ads manager, when you're running an ad, you have a selection of like what the purpose is, and it's almost it's exactly this. It's awareness,
Yeah.
consideration, conversion. So in this
Hmm.
phase, obviously, you would from the drop down choose awareness, which means the main goal of that ad is to reach more people. Um, but like I said, this is where you're going to have fewer conversions. You're going to have fewer tangible ROIs from paid ads and from the organic content. You're going to have, this is why we also ask people a lot when they come on with us and for really any service that we provide, whether it's running your account, whether it's this is the first thing I ask on a coaching call, or even if it's like an influencer collab or like an influencer campaign that we're running for you, it's like, what are your goals, right? Are you trying to increase the awareness? Are you trying to convert? Because you're going to look at different things and you're going to look at different analytics there. So if your goal is to increase awareness, know that your conversions might be lower because that wasn't your main goal with this campaign or whatever. So I just wanted to bring that up because sometimes, especially running paid ads, it's hard when you put money behind it and you want to see that immediate return. You're probably not going to see that return on an awareness immediately, I should say. You'll probably see it
Yeah.
in the long run, but you're not going to get that immediate, response return that you want from doing an awareness paid ads campaign.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the vibe on the awareness phase. I also will say content that does well is like relatable content within this part. Relatable content, essentially thinking like if you create content, you want your audience to be like, oh, I resonate with this. That's kind of the main goal
Of
with
that stage.
yeah, with
Yeah.
the awareness stage. So that's part one. Tara, did you have anything you wanted to toss onto that?
No, you did fabulous. That was excellent.
Thank you so much.
You're so good.
Okay, so part two is the consideration, which again is pretty self explanatory. It's basically what I explained earlier. I'm now aware of your product and I'm thinking about buying it. And this is, if you've heard me talk about, I've talked about this a lot. If you've heard me talk about kind of our TikTok strategy of like 70, 20, 10%, this would be that 20% where I talk about relationship building and trust building, really. So, according to Sprout Social, brand advocates and social proof assist customers when they're comparing you against competitors. That's kind of what they explain the consideration phase of. So it's really where your potential customers are getting to know you. And this is the content wise, this is what's going to help them make the decision of whether or not they actually buy or work with you. So stuff that would work in the middle of the funnel would be like carousel posts, educational type of stuff, really showcasing your credentials. It could be behind the scenes, savable content. It's really stuff that, like I said, is going to build trust with your audience and build a relationship with your audience. So these are definitely going to have less of a reach and fewer impressions than
Mm-hmm.
content from the awareness phase, but it's not going to have as much of a like return as the conversion phase. So it really is like a middle ground. It's where you're getting to know your customers, where this is also where, not that this is like content related, but this is where you really need to be answering your DMs. You need to be answering your
Yeah,
comments. You're really
exactly.
fostering that relationship with your clients. or with your potential customers, your audience, whatever you
Yeah,
want to call them. Um,
exactly.
that one's a pretty self-explanatory one. And the last section, the bottom of the funnel, is the conversion. So this is where your audience turns from a potential customer to an actual paying customer. So this is where they're actually going to make the decision to buy from you, to work with you, to book with you, whatever it is. This is where you actually will get that return that we were talking about. So what we've talked about, this is huge, is making it as simple as possible. You've heard us talk about this. Automate your DMs, send a link directly to your audience, and use call to action prompts, something like send us a DM of the word and then like in parentheses or like in quotes, whatever word it is, to get started. And then you can automate your DMs. This is all part of that conversion process, right? Because again, if it's not an easy process, people are probably not going to book with you. So this is, I think, the conversion process or the conversion phase reaches much further than just the content. I think this is a lot more of the process, and like how easy is it to book with you is equally as important as the content that you're posting within this phase. So like I said, we love to do automated DMs. It's something we're testing out. I've made it very clear that I don't want to say that's the end all be all, but it's worth trying out.
Yeah.
We also have, I think you should definitely prioritize the linking system that you are using. We moved to Stan, which I believe I talked about in the last episode or the episode before that. We moved to Stan just because, again, it makes everything easier for our clients. I've noticed that since we've moved to Stan and it's been much easier to book right within there, we've like doubled our sales
Yeah.
on one-on-one coaching, especially. We've really,
One-on-ones, content, or the media kits, all that has
yeah,
actually gone up.
it's
Yeah.
it's gone up just because it's so much easier. Because even Linktree, I understand that there's like benefits to Linktree, and it was really one of the first ones, but it still is exactly it's doing exactly what it says it's going to do. You're bringing them to this third-party website for them to click to just be brought to another browser. So what that's what I love about Stan is that they can do everything from one place. And like I
One
said, it's
place.
actually increased our sales since we've switched. Um, and then as far as the content that goes into this phase, this is going to be your stories where you have link clicks. This is going to be content with the intention of selling. So I've talked about this. I don't know where I talked about this, but I know I've talked about it, where you don't want to follow someone who's only posting salesy content, right? If you're following
Mm-hmm.
someone and every single post of theirs is, look how great my product is, look how great my whatever, there should be some sort of entertainment or educational value. There should be, your audience should be getting something out of it. However, you do sometimes need to post that salesy content. This is the time for it. This
Do you
phase,
do you find that most people want to just skip right to this one? Like
yeah,
leave out all the other stages and be like, I just want to do this one.
yeah,
And
I think
yeah,
I also think, not to like toot our own horn, but that's part of the reason that people do need to hire someone to
yeah,
do their social media, because it's really easy for you to just be like, book with me. And I've seen our clients even do this
yeah,
when either before we came on or if they post their own thing. That's typically what they post, right? Because it does seem like common sense. Marketing seems like, book with me, buy my product. You know what I mean? Like
yeah.
the kind of general
But it's
consensus
like
of
it's
marketing.
an overall picture of like you have to have that top of the funnel to
Right.
get a valuable customer,
I
someone that
think
will
that's
actually
kind of
convert.
what we talk to our clients about a lot when we're like, I always say don't rely heavily on trending sounds. That shouldn't be, your entire strategy. And I still stand by that. I don't think that should be your entire strategy, but I do think there's a place for it, right? And
Yeah.
that's at the top of the funnel. And I think, like we've said, this is where I think a lot of business owners have a hard time. It's actually, you know what? I would say it's 50-50. I think business owners either want to do all awareness phase things, like they just want to do trending sounds all day and then they wonder why they're not getting any sales from it, because you're bringing
Yeah.
people in but you're not
Yeah.
getting any sales. Or the opposite, where they
Uh-huh.
only want to do salesy content because they're like, buy my product, and they think that's what marketing is, and then they are again not getting any sales from that. because you're not bringing new people in to make the sales to.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's why it's a whole, you got to do all of it. I also think testimonials are great for this. I don't think you should do all testimonials, but you know, I do think they are helpful in helping someone decide whether or not they want to work with you. This is honestly, I think, kind of where the before and afters come. The before and
Yeah.
afters are kind of here and the consideration phase, a little bit of both of it.
Yeah.
But I always tell people too, like, I think sometimes people overcomplicate marketing. And I'm
Hmm.
like, and social media marketing too. Like, I always say, put yourself in your audience's shoes.
Yeah.
And maybe it's easier for us to do because we're not technically in these industries. So it's easier to be like, okay, imagine if I was going to buy this product. What would I need to know before I buy from them? What would convince me to buy from them? So,
Yeah.
like, going back to this hair roller situation, what really convinced me was a lot of TikToks. Honestly, what my like final pull was, a friend of mine made a video about it on her Instagram. And I was like, all right, it looks really good on you.
I'm
You know what
doing
I
it.
mean? So it's
Yeah.
like that's what made me want to buy it, was actually seeing it in action
Hmm.
was enough times to make me be like, yeah, I should probably get those, I think. So that's kind of how I, for this phase, the consideration and the actual commitment, what would actually make you pull the trigger? What would actually make you buy the product? Like, put yourself in your audience's shoes.
Do you almost feel too like some of these can be utilized on different, like different parts of the funnel can be executed through your strategy on different platforms, which then in the end, like Instagram be your conversion, right? Like we always
Yeah,
push people to Instagram to convert, but like TikTok is where we're trying to get the
through the
reach,
awareness phase. Yeah, I
the awareness
actually
base.
just explained that to someone in a one-on-one call the other day. Not to say that you can't have all parts of the funnel in one platform, because you
Yeah.
can. I don't think TikTok is the best for conversion, but I think it's
Yeah.
great for awareness. But if you can get people like from your TikTok to your Instagram, you're probably going to have a higher conversion rate on Instagram, because those are people who actually want to buy from you. Even if you notice, like influencers, most people that started on TikTok have a substantially lower following
Following
on
on
Instagram.
Instagram. Yeah.
But those people that follow them on Instagram are more likely the people listening to their podcast, buying from their brand deals. Like, there's just a higher conversion rate, I would say.
It's almost
Not
like they commit, they see you, they follow, then they can when they're really like in that second stage, they'll go follow you on Instagram.
exactly. And
And
don't
then
I want to be clear, conversion rate and engagement rate are not the same thing for anyone that is confused, because I know I've said earlier that Instagram has the lowest conversion rate, or lower than TikTok, or engagement rate. I just said don't confuse them, and I confused them. Instagram has a lower engagement rate than TikTok, but I
Mhm.
do believe Instagram has a higher conversion rate than TikTok.
Yes,
They are
yes.
different things. Um, just wanted to make that clear. Also, in this last section of the funnel, this conversion part of the funnel, this is the part where you definitely are not going to see a high reach. Your views are probably going to be down, because, like, again, put yourself in the audience's shoes. If you see a video that's like, here's a testimonial, my followers said X, Y, and Z, are you going to send that to your friends? Be honest. Are you going to put that on your story? No, you're
Mm,
not. You're not.
no.
But it's going to sway you, and that's the purpose. Is it's a little bit more individualized, I think. It's not supposed to reach a mass audience. It's not intended to reach a mass audience. It's intended to get people to buy or book.
Mhm.
So, I think obviously, like, views and likes are still the engagement that a lot of people focus on.
Like, yeah,
That
they
is
like to focus
not
on.
the analytic, that is not the metric that you should be focusing on this part of the funnel. You should be focusing on website clicks. You should be focusing on your literal sales on your website. If you can track it, like, I know a lot of things you can put pixels in them,
Mhm.
or they're called pixels, I
Yeah.
don't know, whatever. But there's also a lot of sites like on Stan and on we have our website hosted through Squarespace. Both of those, I don't know how accurate they are. It's probably more accurate to use like Google Analytics, but I do know that both of those have tracking of where they're coming from. not to the extent of like what post it's coming from, but if you, I mean, you can kind of use what am I thinking of?
You can use the analytics.
No, it was a phrase that I was thinking of and it just left my brain. Oh, process of elimination is what I was going to say. You can use process of elimination to determine if you posted a post on Instagram yesterday that
Yeah,
was
it did
part of the
well.
conversion and then your sales went up yesterday. You can kind of assume
See
that it came from that post. But like I said, those are probably the metrics that you're going to focus on more, is honestly the ones that are in your website. So those are basically the three main parts of the funnel. I know if you look up like a marketing funnel, there's different kinds. There's some that have like 6 different sections or whatever,
yeah,
but that's like a very simple way to break down the marketing funnel and how that really impacts your content, because it really does. And I think that's where marketing people come into play, is they understand that better than business owners. And business owners, like I said, will stick to one section of the funnel, not do the other sections, and then get frustrated when they're not getting
the
what they
conversions.
want. Yeah.
Yeah, so true.
So, do you have anything else that you wanted to tack
No,
on?
I love this. It was a quick lesson, and I thought it was great.
I was going to say it's a quick episode. Hopefully, you guys are at your destination by now. Hopefully,
Yeah, right.
most
It's
of you
like
guys might
it's
be
a
listening in the car.
car ride
I used to listen to podcasts all the time in the car, and now that I drive 12
nowhere.
minutes max, I'm like, when do I listen? I listen, I guess, sometimes. Actually, I listen to podcasts in the gym a lot, which is kind of like psycho behavior. To just be like listening. I'm like
I
lifting weights,
actually
listening to a podcast.
I was actually filming Allie the other day, and she's like, "I listened to your podcast on the way to work today."
And I love
The
that.
really quick one, because it's like it is. If it's super quick and it's a lesson and it's something they can take with them that day and implement it, it's super helpful. I know.
Yeah, totally agree. Also, this is just thinking out loud, but I kind of want everybody's opinion on this. I've been considering putting the podcast on YouTube because I watch podcasts a lot more than I listen to them. I have them on in the background when I'm
I
working.
feel like if we do that, I'm gonna have to get like I don't know background and stuff.
I don't, okay, here's my thoughts, was because when I was editing, I can do a side by side frame
Uh huh.
really, really easily, which is what I did when I tried it out with Reels.
Uh huh.
Well, the different like templates, but I can do a side by side frame super easily. And I kind of
I
am
feel like it would
thinking
be great.
that we should do it. So let me know, you guys, either on our Instagram. That's probably the easiest way to let me know what you think, at Social Sessions Podcast. Let me know if you guys would want this on YouTube, because I'm a big advocate of podcasts on YouTube. I watch all of my podcasts. So let me know what you guys think. I'm thinking we should definitely do that. That way, I don't know. I know podcasts are an audio only platform, but I feel like they're not anymore.
Sometimes when I'm like even listening though, and they do have video, I look down and I'm
Like on
like
your phone.
watching it at the same time.
Yeah. So
Can you put it onto podcast? Can you like onto Spotify or Apple?
I don't know. Not on Apple, I don't think. We might be able to do it on Spotify, but even then, like the only ones that, and this is what I was going to say, the only ones I ever watch on Spotify are the Spotify exclusive ones. So it's
Okay.
like Call Her Daddy or like Emma
Mm-hmm.
Chamberlain is on there. Not that let me be really clear, you guys. I don't listen to Call Her Daddy. I don't want you guys to think that about me. But like those, like the Spotify exclusive ones, I don't know if they're the only ones that can put video on there. I kind of think they might be, because they're locked into the exclusivity, so they can't post on YouTube. Everybody
Oh, that
else
maybe is true.
posts on YouTube, I think. I also
Yeah,
just think it's easier if everybody else is there, like just go where everybody else is.
exactly.
Anyways, that is the episode for the week. We will talk to you guys next week. We got a good guest for you. I hope you guys are enjoying the guests. I also would love to hear who you guys want to have on the podcast, or if you even want guests, to be honest. Like, I want your guys' feedback. What do you guys want to hear? What
Who do you
topics
want
do you
us to
want to hear
talk to?
about? We're also kind of broadening our subjects a little bit more. We've got more like business owners coming on. We have the starter of a nonprofit, which I think is really cool. So we're branching out. There's still very much like an entrepreneur and marketing theme, but we're trying to branch out a little bit so it's not just social media, so you guys can kind of learn. I'm sure a lot of you guys are entrepreneurs or just at least entrepreneurial spirits. If you're listening to this, I can assume you guys have that vibe about you. Um, so you guys can just learn new things. I think it's great to hear from other people's stories, but I just want your guys' opinions. Do you like when we have guests on? What do you want us to talk about? Really anything. We're in the DMs. I'll answer you, I promise. Or Terrah.
Yes. Yes, we will.
All right, we will talk to you guys next week.
Talk to you later. Bye.